Well, hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. Welcome back to I don't even know what season unofficially this is of the Tech Commute, but we are here. Um and I'm so happy that we finally made it with Roselle at Black Girl Bites herself. I think I've been trying to get you on this for oh my gosh, I don't even know how long. And then we could never align the schedules.
Yeah.
And then gosh, I think you decided to have a kid. That was part of it, and got a little busy with life and
Yeah.
work and all those things. But we made it. We're here.
Yeah. We're here.
Um, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our wonderful audience? Hey, Chris Demars, I see you there.
Yeah, sure. My name's Roselle Scarlett. I'm a tech lead for Block's open source DevRel section. And what else about me? I don't know. I love writing and coding, and yeah, I'm a new mom. That's it.
Well, congrats. How old is the baby now?
She's 8 months now.
8 months.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's quite the change. Um, Going from just like working in tech to now working in tech and being a mom.
Yeah.
We'll dive into some of that in a little bit here, but let's kind of start from the beginning. I don't know anything about your journey into tech, so if you want to just rewind it, let's go all the
Sure.
way back to little doesn't know a thing about tech life Roselle and how it all started for you.
Yeah, totally. I can do that. So basically, I graduated college and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And then I just picked psychology because I don't know.
Oh,
I only did one semester though because of like finances. So I just picked psychology because I was like, I don't know, world's my oyster. I feel like I could pick any of it. And yeah, I had like financial issues in college. And then
mm.
people were telling me, they were like, yeah, to make money in psychology, you have to have at least a master's. And I was like, oh, heck no. I don't have not like I don't want a master's, but I was like, I can't even get through the first semester. So I like went, I had to move back home and then I started Googling. I was like, what jobs make the most money with the least amount of education? And then software engineering kept coming up as like something you can have an associate's degree for. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, but I got a little nervous about like maybe the math. So I ended up doing IT first. And while I was doing IT, I feel like I like mastered that in like a few months, and I was like, okay, I want to do software engineering, but I was still scared of the math, so I ended up going to Resilient Coders. It was like free. It was like seeming like light load. I was like, I don't want to go back and do like so much college. I don't even know if I necessarily will like this, but I had a really good time. I did Resilient Coders with my husband, became a software engineer, and then got into DevRel. That's it.
Wow. Okay, and that was it. All right.
Yeah.
So you tried the college thing. And
Yeah.
you kind of found out it wasn't for you. You mentioned that you ran into some difficulties there. What did was it the format or is it just not your style of learning? Like
Oh
the
wait,
education system?
I wanna clarify. I do
Yeah.
have my degree in computer science. I
Oh
got it
yeah, yeah.
after I
Yeah.
got my job. I forgot
Oh,
that part.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
school, it's not that school's not for me. It's the price was not for me.
Yeah.
So I
Higher
was like,
learning, like higher education, the price is so crazy. And I
right.
feel like that is a huge turnoff for a lot of people, especially like coming out of it with like six figures worth of debt.
Yeah. Exactly. And on top of that, I wasn't born here, so at the time I was undocumented and like
Mm.
everybody like I had good grades, so I could get scholarships, but like a lot of things at like in that those years it was like blocking me from being able to get any type of scholarships or federal funding. So I was like,
Sure.
this is not an option for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So where were you born?
I was born in Antigua. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. So being that you were you grew up undocumented, as you said, like how did that sort of shape some of the decisions that you had to make, like growing
Ooh.
up or like navigating to where you are now?
That's a good question. I think it's made me be somebody that takes opportunities immediately. I
Mm.
think so. Because I think a lot of time, like people take a job for granted. I knew as a kid that was like I probably can't get a job. That was before when I was undocumented.
Yeah.
And I was like wishing I had a job, but like or not
Oh.
wishing I had a job as a kid, but wishing that when I
I wish I was an insurance salesman.
but I was like, dang, like I was like in my head as a kid, I'm like, I'm already poor. And then when I grow up, how am I
Oh.
gonna get money? I'm just literally just gonna be poor forever. So to me, when people, I mean, jobs are a lot of work, right? But
Yeah.
like when people are like, oh, they don't like jobs or like going to school or something like that, or anytime someone comes up with like an awesome opportunity, I'm like, I can't relate. I'm going for the opportunity immediately because
Yeah.
you I didn't have these opportunities before.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of people's like perception now, and I feel like there's kind of a sense of entitlement to some extent. But then you hear stories like yours where, man, a job could potentially be a gift and life changing. And I feel like more people should value those types of moments, kind of like how you represented through your journey. So that's awesome. All right, let's get past the education part. You mentioned resilient coders, and you said that you and your husband went through it. Where you guys were together the whole time through that? Did he also get through the program?
Yeah, yeah, we were both together. I kind of Well, he would tell you a different story. He would say he always wanted to do this, and I'm like, I don't remember that situation. I remember me like forcing him to do it. I was like, "Come on, we can both be software engineers." And he's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know,
I
really."
don't know yet, but we're gonna find out.
Yeah. So we both did it, and we both graduated. He did better than me, I would say. He did
Oh
really
wow.
well. Yeah.
How was it to have him there with you through the process? Like, was that a good opportunity to have as a support system?
Definitely, because coding boot camps are hard. Resilient
Mm.
coders is hard. They do not play. Like, get your work done. Especially like back in the day, like they've put in some more. It got soft. Like, I don't know. From the outside looking in, it looks like it got a little bit softer. But back in
Oh,
the day, you had to have your work in, or else you were getting like clipped or kicked out, right? Or at least you had to be able to communicate. Like, here's why it's behind, and here's how I'm going to catch up. Because they wanted us to be able to like succeed in the real world. But there were so many times where I was like crying over stuff, and then we would at least I would have a buddy. He wasn't crying,
yeah.
but complaining to of like, yeah, oh my gosh, CSS is hard, or whatever thing that now seems trivial.
Sure. I mean, CSS is hard. That
Yeah.
it definitely is. Center a div for me. That's all I'll say. It confirm or deny. Is Leon different in resilient coders? Is there a resilient coders Leon and 100 devs Leon?
Maybe. Okay, but this could have been. I was really young when I was in Really Young Coders. I was
Mm,
like 20 or something like that. And he's in person, he's so tall. So I was very intimidated by him. Like, he'd be like, get your work done. And I'm like, okay. But like when I see about 100 devs, he's like fun and everything. And now that I talk to him and I've
yeah.
graduated, he's like fun, chill, and everything. But before, I don't know if other people perceive it that way. But before,
Mm.
I was like, oh my God, I better not mess with this dude.
Yeah, I shout out to Leon. I love Leon. I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times as well. Great guy. Um, I think to some extent though, like it's that tough love. In a platform like Resilient Coders, they want you to succeed, and
Yeah.
sometimes patting you on the back for no reason doesn't get you there. So I could see that as the character. I could see him doing that. I like that for Leon. I
It
like
was valuable.
yeah.
I came to work like ready. I was like, all right, if someone's mean to me or something, I know what to do. I know how to
You
navigate.
knew, sure. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that's the real world,
yeah,
and
exactly.
that training for that is awesome. What would you say is something that you learned in Resilient Coders that you've carried with you the last few years in your career? Like, what's one of the one like sticks with you lessons that you got?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I I guess I kind of learned. I don't know like the way to like make this sound really pretty. I just learned to like problem solve and find the answer, even if I feel like I don't know the answer. Because I think software engineering in general teaches you that. I think in the past I'm like, oh, I don't know the answer, not sure what it is, and I give up. But like going through resilient coders, I'm like, I only have like 1 hour before I got to submit this. I'm going to figure out how to get the answer, whether it's like Stack Overflow or something. So I think it made me more resourceful.
I like that you said that. I actually had a coffee chat with someone earlier where we were talking about really any job in any industry. The people you don't maybe need to necessarily know all the things to do the job when you start, but the person that's hiring you wants to know that you're capable of learning them and
Yeah.
figuring it out and ultimately just solving their problem.
Yeah.
I am taller than Leon, by the way, so
You are?
I'll clear that up.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I saw they're talking about it in the chat here. I was like, no, I am a little bit taller than Leon. So let's talk about that first role. So we finish up Resilient Coders. Like, what was it like at that time trying to find that first job in tech, and what were you guys doing in the meantime to sort of sustain? Like, where were you at also as far as like life at that time?
Okay. Life, I lived with my mom then, and yeah, I don't know. Just I think before Resilient Coders, I was like working at Planet Fitness. So that's just
Okay.
imagine a girl that's 20 years old works at Planet Fitness, lives with her mom.
Yeah.
But before I graduated Resilient Coders, I already had jobs because I was like I told you, I'm not playing. Like
Yeah.
I knew the graduation date was coming up, and I was already applying and interviewing and acting like I was already graduated. So they were like, "Yeah, you're hired," and I was like, "Actually, I'm still in my coding bootcamp."
They're like, "Hey, you're hired." I'm like, "Hey, one sec,
Yeah,
gotta finish."
and that was also a really like it's not the ecosystem we're in now. That was a
Mm,
really good time for tech when they were just like hiring a lot, and
mm.
then yeah, like it was just really good. So like it was a little bit easy. Like I empathize with people now. Although it was hard, interviews were hard and stuff like that. There was just a lot more job postings and a lot more
Mm.
eagerness to bring on juniors. So yeah,
I
I hope that
gotcha.
answers your
And
question.
what was the first role?
The first job I had was it was like an internship and then became full time at a company called Vesson Nautical.
Okay.
So they basically made maritime software.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That's not one of the big ones, right? Like
yeah.
that's just one of those
Oh,
companies out there. Um, how much of your work ethic, I guess, just again reflecting on your journey in your younger age and like that kind of work ethic of like I gotta get out there and get a job. Like I have to be able to pay my bills and everything. Like how much of that influenced how you approached going to get a job from Resilient Coders because you were already applying. Like you were like I'm gonna be as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna have a job. A lot of people don't frame it that way. So how much of like your journey to that point influenced the decision to do that?
I guess like 100% of
Yeah.
it. I don't know. I
No,
don't
I
know.
mean for sure. It's that totally makes sense. I think I think like people should even when they're not quite 100% sure they're ready be applying and like get
Yeah.
into those process cuz I mean how long did it take you to get into that role? Like what kind of a
Oh.
process was that?
I don't remember the exact timeline. It's all a blur. Like it was just going fast. But I think okay, first off, I would say like the benefits, right? I did start applying maybe a little too early, but at
Mm,
least it gave me insight into like what the interviews would be like. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
I cried after my first one because it was something so simple. They were like, "Oh, write like some JavaScript to find like the circumference of a circle," and I was like, "I have no clue how to do that." Because I was still on like the HTML section. Like I was really way too eager.
Mhm.
But it gave me insight into like, oh, here's how the interviews are set up. Here's how what I can do better in the future. Let me turn off my Discord. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, let me here's how I can prepare better in the future. So it just gave me like I never am nervous to do interviews as much. Like I am nervous, but I'm like I do low ones so that I can figure out like, oh, here's what to expect for the ones I
Mm.
actually really want to get.
Well, what was your experience interviewing up until that point? You had never interviewed for tech roles, correct? So just like kind of getting your feet wet and getting acclimated with what that's like is probably pretty important. Would you suggest that people kind of follow a similar path just to get some reps in?
Yeah, get some reps in, or even I know that jobs are like more minimal these days, so like do practice interviews as much as possible with people.
Mm,
Things that really helped is when Leon would do like practice interviews with us, make us do something simple as FizzBuzz, and just get me used to explaining things out loud. Because I think I had only done those types of interviews that are like very behavioral. Like,
mm,
oh, I was a phlebotomist in the past. They kind of just asked me like, how do I deal with certain things, and then oh, which I forget what they're called, but which tube uses what blood, blah 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 blah. That's it. But once I got into tech, the interview process, you have to kind of explain what you're thinking, and that was a really hard transition for me for some
Mm,
reason. But yeah, like practice as much as possible. And if you see a job, I feel like people see jobs and they're like, "No, I don't want that because da, da, da." Like still apply, interview, see what happens. If you don't get it, it was practice for you. If you get it, well, now you have the ability to negotiate.
yeah, I love that advice. How many interviews or how many like jobs did you go through before you got the one that you started with? That first one.
I don't remember. Sorry, that was
That
like
well, was it that many or that few? You just there was a lot of them you don't remember.
oh, I think it was that few. Okay, I got three offers.
Oh
I
wow.
remember at the
Okay.
end, but I don't. I think there was like two or three I didn't get, and like that was like heartbreaking for me. And I
Well,
was like,
and
never again.
that was where I was trying to go with the
Yeah,
question is how you kind of, especially starting off, how
yeah.
were you pushing yourself to keep moving forward when you were getting those rejections?
I think because I was a little competitive. I saw
Mm,
that like my husband and other of my like cohort mates, they started moving forward in other interviews. Because I also was like trying to get my husband. Well, he was my boyfriend then, but I was
yeah.
like, do this interview and I'll do this interview because I was trying to see if we could work at the same job. But then when he got passed and I didn't, I was like, oh no, this is embarrassing. Like I'm gonna keep trying. So I
Yeah.
think it does hurt, but like I try not to think about it too much. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I really wasn't like something I've learned in the future is sometimes I force my way into jobs and I'm like, dang, I wasn't really a good fit for this place. This company is
Oh.
just not like my type of team fit. So sometimes now I'm like, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed working with them. So it makes sense why they didn't pick me. Or sometimes I'm like, they are lost. I could have been popping on that team, but they didn't want me.
I guess that's a good way to frame it, but you brought up an interesting point is that maybe you were applying for roles that ultimately you didn't think you were going to love. Um, do you see a lot of that now in the industry, especially when jobs are so scarce? Like people are just, I am focused on back end, but hey, there's a UI UX position open. Here we go.
Yeah.
You see that a
They have
lot?
no choice. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they gotta
yeah.
do it.
That's tough. What would you give as far as some advice right now to some people that are struggling to find a job in this wildly tricky market?
I would say I think it's for I know I'm maybe giving conflicting advice. I think it's okay if you're a back end dev and you apply for a front end dev, do something to at least get something on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Go full force if you get that interview, go full force if you get that job. Use it as a learning experience and then you can move on to the job that you like. Cuz sometimes I think people limit themselves in an already limited like job market
Mm-hmm.
and there's no need to do that. Like some people are like, I only want to be a developer advocate. Like it's okay to be a software engineer. Like that might even
Mm-hmm.
help you to become a better developer advocate in the future.
I love that. That's some solid advice. So we get into the marine. I don't remember how
Oh,
you
the
said it.
maritime
Yeah, the
software.
maritime software company. How long were you there?
Oh, not really that long. I did.
what's what's not really that long?
I did an internship and then they hired me full time. But that was another example of me being like, I just realized I don't really like maritime software like that.
Sure.
So
Does
it was
anybody? Does anybody like like
oh,
who
some people are so
actually
passionate
never want to
about
meet someone that loves maritime software. I'm sorry. I'm saying it.
the people there were really passionate. They even went to like I don't know if like a naval academy or a maritime academy or something like that for school.
Okay. I
I
guess
was
that's
like,
fair.
I realized I'm not, I'm not into this.
Okay.
So
Well, you learned. You
yeah,
learned.
I
It's
learned a
fine.
lot. It gave
Yeah.
me like a lot more exposure because before, you're in a coding boot camp, you work in like your specific repo. It's nothing huge, but this
Mm,
enabled me to see like, oh, here's how working in a bigger repo with multiple people will work. It also gave me exposure to like I was used to GitHub. They were using Bitbucket and some
oh wow.
other technology, so I was like, wait a minute. not everyone in the world uses GitHub. So that was just that was just good for me. And then I
Yeah.
was able to use that experience at a different company. I don't know how long maybe a year. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's not that bad. I thought
Oh,
you were going to say like 2 months.
no, not
Like I was an
2 months.
intern, they signed me, and I was out.
No.
Well, I think though this goes back to your, you know, you were in a place that maybe wasn't a fit, but
Yeah.
like, what were some of the takeaways again that now you moved on from this job that you still see that you're kind of implementing even today? Like, what were some of those like life lessons that you carry with you from maritime software days?
um, that's a good question. Okay. I think I might be throwing my husband under the bus, but whatever, I'm going to.
He's
So,
not here, is he?
yeah, I mean,
Oh, shout out to Giselle's husband. I apologize in advance. Go on.
okay, the one of the main lessons. Okay, I'll use two different companies because the company after that I stayed a little bit longer and I learned way more technical lessons.
Hmm.
But this one, I learned that I need to advocate for myself and speak up
Ooh.
because it was me, my husband Derek, and another girl that both came from Brazilian Coders. We both went there. I mean, we all three of us like did the internship, but they didn't continue on to be full time, even though they wanted
Mm.
to. And like not like knocking them or anything, but it's just because they never expressed that they wanted to. Like they kind
Oh,
of were like, they're like, oh no, I've been asking our manager. He said we're doing good, but the manager just didn't know they wanted to stay. He was kind
yeah.
of like, oh, like this is an internship. They want to leave, but I was like, I want to stay. Like that. I mean, that's because like I wanted to get more money and stuff like that. But
Sure.
like, I was like, oh, this worked compared to them. And then the second job I had after, I learned a lot more about like um I guess being honest when I don't know how to do something. I think the next job I went to, it was an insurance company, InsurTech, and it was a startup and everything was moving really, really fast. Like day one, they put me on a ticket. I did not say I knew, like I didn't express that I didn't know how to do anything. I just pretended I did and then I took down
Oh
the
boy.
application and I was like, I think this works. They were like, okay, sure. They didn't, I don't know if they didn't review my code. I don't know, but I came in the next day. Everybody's like running around. And I'm like,
Oh
what happened? And
no.
like, your code took down the site. So, like, there's lots of different moments at that company where I learned, like, just say you don't know. Like, there's many times where I still just didn't say I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, like, fake it till you make it, but like, with reasonable, like, discernment.
Sure, yeah. Wow. No, I mean, both of those really like speaking up for yourself. Like you're always going to be your biggest advocate.
Yeah.
So taking the opportunity to do that is never a bad thing. And then also like being honest,
Yeah.
like, like, nah, you know what? I don't know how to do this ticket. Again, all lessons learned. All
Yeah.
lessons learned. You
Yeah.
totally pulled a Rizal on that one. I like that.
Oh no, that'd be so I hope they never said that.
It's in their docs now at InsureTech. The Rizal protocol. Okay, so now we've moved on to InsureTech.
Yeah.
What was next for you? Because obviously you didn't stay there. You said you were there for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Stayed there for a couple years and then while I was doing that, I did a lot of stuff at the same time. I was getting my degree in computer science
Hmm.
and then I was also helping to run this nonprofit called G Code, which was like teaching women of color and non-binary people how to code.
Oh,
And
awesome.
through that, I was like, yo, I really like teaching people about coding and like getting them excited. I like that way better than just pure coding. Like I'm like coding is fun, but I'm having a way better time this way. And I was like, dang, it sucks that you can't make like that kind of money. But then I started seeing people like Angie
Mm.
Jones and Brian Douglas and stuff like that. They were doing talks. Uh I will watch a talk or some kind of course before I went to work because I was like the most junior on the team and like I hated that. And as you heard, I was taking down the app. So
Yeah.
I'm like I need to step it up. So I would be watching that before I reached work. And then that's when I got exposed to people. I'm like, how did all these like to me, I was like, how did all these black people get on a stage? I'm like, I didn't even
Mm.
know there was black people that like that in tech. And then I found out like their role was called developer advocate, and I decided I'm gonna just try to apply to some. And I did the same thing where I applied to jobs where they were like, "Girl, you do not have experience." And I was like, "Okay, let me learn from that." And I applied applied to GitHub, and I was able to like better tell my story and why I would be a good fit and stuff like that.
Mm,
And yeah, then I got GitHub as a developer advocate.
amazing. I love that. So, what was, I guess, kind of walk me through like what the thought process was of starting this educational like group or site or organization that you did, that you wanted to even do something like that, because just kind of stepping out of the day to day as a developer, and then I mean writing curriculums, teaching people how to do things, and making sure that people that are, you know, a little bit more marginalized and not recognized in the community are seeing the same opportunities.
Yeah, so it wasn't like originally my idea. I had
Mm,
actually met the lady that wanted to do a lot the idea years back, and then she just randomly called me again and she was like, "Hey, like I'm actually starting this up. Do you
mm,
want to help lead it?" And I was like, "Sure." And for me, like I didn't that's I'm a person that just overcommits. So there wasn't
mm,
really too much of a thought process, but for me to want to like stay, I thought like, "Wow, I wish I had this like type of community when I was learning to code." I had
mm.
resilient coders, which was great,
Yeah.
but I wish it was like mostly like girls and non-binary people, and I made it in a way that like I made it really light. Like I made it fun, like just my personality, how it is. I didn't make it like you there. It was not intense. It was just like a
Yeah.
fun way to learn and decide if you wanted to continue in the software engineering path. And
Mm.
then I would connect them to like resilient coders and other types of
Oh,
programs. But I
cool.
kind of made like the program that I wish I had before.
How important, I guess, again, now reflecting on that part of what you were doing and building a community like that, like how important has the community around you been to your career and your tech journey?
Yeah, super, super important, I would say. Like any job that I've gotten is because of the different communities that I've joined and applied to. And like Resilient Coders, another program called Hack Diversity, they really connected me to different jobs. They helped me to be able to negotiate salaries and stuff like that. And then even building a community online, on Twitter and stuff like that. I've learned a bunch from people, and I've had people be able to like advocate for me. Even this job at Block, like Nick De Jesus, he had worked at Block
Mm.
with me before, and he kind of told Angie like Rizal will be good for this job. Like she was like, "Are you sure? Like a staff level job? Like it doesn't say Rizal staff," and he like advocated for me. So that type of stuff is really important.
Wow. Yeah. Shout out to Nick.
Yeah,
Is he still looking? I think he's
yeah,
looking
I
right
think
now.
so.
Yeah. If anybody has a role for him, definitely
Hire
reach
him.
out. Yeah. Hire that guy. He's awesome. Um, okay. So we're in GitHub.
Mhm.
What was the experience like there? Because this is now, I guess, for all intents and purposes, your first large org role.
Yes, it is my
Yeah.
first large org role because before that I was just working at startups. It was
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. Like I had a really good manager. GitHub has a really good like remote culture where even though it was really large, everybody was like really nice, got to know me. I don't know, my manager, I think he set me up a lot for to get good exposure. I think there was
Mm,
times where like when you're a developer advocate, you get called to be in everything, conferences, live streams, whatever. And I think there's times where he's like, I can't do it all. And he's like, dude, I do know Rizal could probably do it. And that helped me to just like by him not like hogging up all the opportunities, that helped me to be able to get that exposure inside the company and outside the company.
in those opportunities, were there ones where you would say no? And you said you're kind of a go getter and you're a little
I think
competitive, but then reflecting on like maybe saying no sometimes when you don't know something, were there times where you're like, I don't know if I'm best suited for that?
I've, I rarely, I don't
You're like, no.
I think at first the only thing I was really hesitant about was like in-person public speaking. Like even when I
Mm,
joined the job, I was like, yeah, I'll do everything, but I don't want to speak in public because I was just nervous. I never
sure.
really did that. But my manager after all, he's like, all right, like you're a developer advocate. You can't really like skate around.
Yeah. It's
So
part
I
of the job,
eventually
buddy.
got to yeah.
Well, all right, so let's talk about that, because again, like now we're pivoting from engineer, full-time
Mm,
engineer, to
mm,
now a developer advocate. How much time were you in code? Were you doing
mm.
any coding at that point?
Yeah, I was still coding. I'm like a
Mm,
person that likes to code, but I think it was much lighter coding
yeah.
than I'm doing here. Like it was a lot of demos and stuff like that. Um, but I still try to code every day.
Mm,
That's me.
yeah. No, I get that. As a community manager too, I'm still playing with a lot of things in the background, just
Yeah.
having the hands on the IDE. Um, Talk to us a little bit about that first time you had to talk, like do
Oh,
a presentation of some kind publicly.
yeah. So I think so in the past, like in high school and stuff like that, every time I did public speaking, my voice would be mad shaky. So I was like, I'm not trying to repeat that again.
Yeah.
But the first time I spoke at KCDC and it went
Mm,
really, really well. I think things that helped is one, I had already done like virtual talks. So that had helped like increase my confidence, even doing things like G code where I had to like lead, teach and everything. That helped to increase like how I connected with the audience. But then the audience themselves, they were like so encouraging. Like I told them, I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of nervous. It's my first talk." But like the whole time, they acted like they were so impressed by me, and I was like, "Wow!" Like it was gassing me up a lot.
no, I mean having a supportive audience for your talk is super helpful. I think ultimately, and this is something I've heard before too, is like no one's there to see you fail.
Yeah.
They want you to be successful with it. What would you say to some people as far as like that haven't done any public speaking yet? Like, what would be a couple tips to maybe take that first step? I love that you mentioned the virtual like talks or like doing things online like this. This
Yeah.
is a really good like gateway.
Yeah, yeah. Do online stuff. Back in the day too, I used to do Twitter Spaces a lot. Just get yourself used to like talking when you know like multiple people are listening. I don't know why that's so scary, but it
Yeah.
sometimes feels that way. And then also go to meetups. Those have like smaller audiences. That's helpful. And like practice in front of people. Like I want to do okay, not all my talks are good. Some of them are. But when they are good, that's because I like practiced a lot in front of like my friends, my husband, my mom, whatever. I know people are like, "Oh, practicing that sucks." But like it's really good or even having another developer advocate. I had Carmen I hope I said their last name right. Cubidoro like practice with me and it was like really really helpful. They gave me good like insight on when I lost them and then when the thing that I like the most about practicing is because when I go up on stage, I kind of black out. Like I'm like I
Oh.
don't like yeah, I'm like I can't really there's sometimes where I zoom back in and I'm like, oh, there's somebody nodding, but I can't focus on other people. Like if I see them on their phone or something, then I'll start freaking out and be like, oh my god, they think I'm boring, and then I forget what I have to say. But if I just like black out like that and I have practiced enough, I can just say what I have to say and then I won't pause. I don't know if
Sure.
any of this made sense, but
It
there will
did.
be no
No,
more. Okay,
totally.
cool.
Yeah. No, it does make sense. And I think having tunnel vision and focusing on like what the talk is as opposed to allowing yourself to kind of get distracted with everything around definitely is helpful for sure. Do you
Yeah.
have a specific talk that kind of sticks with you as maybe didn't go great?
Oof. I don't like to remember them.
I told you we're going to dredge some stuff up. But
um,
why didn't it go great? Like
yeah.
to you?
Yeah. I don't even remember their titles and stuff like that. I really just throw those
Sure,
into the
sure.
trash. But like I think one, I didn't practice enough. Two, I think like I wrote it last minute. Like I'm like, oh
Mm,
yeah, let me just submit this. I didn't think about if it was really as viable as a talk or a demo. Oh, I know one that was horrible. Oh, it's giving me the shivers. Like I tried to use GitHub Copilot to like basically create music, like vibe code live music type of
oh
thing,
wow.
which that was a good idea, but not at the same time because GitHub Copilot wasn't there yet. Like now it has
Yeah.
agentic mode and all that. It just wasn't there yet. I didn't plan like the my screen setup, so the display was like not mirrored, it was extended, so I was like trying to see what people were seeing on the screen and then
Oh gosh.
it was a mess. Like I was just embarrassed. So like having all of that set up in the beginning, like trying like pretending it's live and seeing like how the whole experience is going to be, that will set you up for success.
Yeah. Prepare. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail, as
Exactly.
they say. So no, but I mean, I guess in hindsight, there's a lesson there too. Is you need to make sure you're giving yourself enough runway to like kind of poke holes in some of these situations. You see
Yeah.
it a lot with other people's talks. The tech
Yeah.
doesn't work on stage, or the slides aren't working and stuff like that. How do you pivot, and how
Yeah.
do you not get in your head about it?
Yes.
Like
Exactly.
that's definitely hard. How many at this point in your career? How many talks ballpark have you given?
Hmm. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe close to 100. I don't know.
Wow,
I don't know.
that is a lot. Holy crap! So how have you seen your presentation style evolve from the first one to now?
Ooh. That's a good question. I think I kind of have a format a little bit that I
Okay.
know I'm gonna go for. Like depending on the type of talk, I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
this is a technical talk, so I could go faster with building my talks, and then I think I'm able to connect with the audience much better. Like I'm not saying as much in the beginning. I used to be like, hey guys, I'm a little nervous. Like I don't do that shit anymore.
No. Okay. Well, why don't you do that? Are you
Uh,
not in fact nervous anymore? Do you find that it kind of like puts the audience on pause a little bit? Like what was the thought process as far as like omitting that part? Because that's
yeah,
interesting. Linguistically, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think I'm still nervous,
Yeah.
but I think I'm like I don't need to say that part. Like don't let the audience think I'm nervous because a lot
Yeah.
of times I rewatch stuff. Like when I did my GitHub Universe talk, I thought I was so nervous. I thought I like messed up, and I rewatched it, and I'm like, whoa, I did really good. So I'm like, I don't need to say that. Like nobody knew I was nervous until I said it.
Yeah, I like that. I think sometimes people, you kind of put a target on your back when you point stuff out
Yeah,
that isn't necessary like that. So I
yes,
think that that's good, like evolution of how you're presenting
yeah,
and giving that confidence and not kind of putting that there. Cause I think, it benefits even the audience to come into it with your confidence. So that's, sounds like advice I've heard. Oh yeah. Yeah. It does sound like advice you've heard because I've said it to you. So, no, I love that GitHub Universe, and you said you rewatched it. So you go through and rewatch your stuff.
yeah. I do. Okay. First off, I didn't like it, but it helped because first off, I got used to my voice. Like
Mm,
that used to be like something I hated so much. I'm
yeah,
like, I can't believe that's my voice. Like when I hear my voice, it does not sound like that.
no, I hate my voice. So that's like you saying that. I'm like, that's something I need to overcome
Yeah.
because I think really in order to like practice or get better at things, you got to get
See,
over that hump.
exactly. Yeah. And it helped me to see like some feedback that people have given me. Like, I think I'm even moving a lot now, but like somebody gave me feedback that like when you talk, you keep like moving and moving. And
Mm,
I'm like, no, I don't. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. So like
kind of do.
it's good.
So movement,
Mhm.
is that was that a negative like a piece of negative feedback, like you move too much, and how do you like then take that into consideration when you're moving forward with like a talk? Because
Yeah.
I'm like that a lot.
I think it's okay, but I think I wasn't always intentional, or it's more like
Mm,
nervous movement where I'm like I'll move like side to side like that.
okay.
And people
Yeah.
can't focus, but like if I'm like using my hands or pointing or bringing someone to a direction, that's fine. But like I learned like planting my feet in a certain position and at a certain place, and like not distracting people with my movement.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I
Hmm.
can appreciate that. My movements are like I'm holding a floating box. Okay.
That's interesting.
Whatever, Roxy. Um, Okay, but now I'm like crossing my arms so I don't do it too much. I'm like self conscious about it. So GitHub, how long
Mhm.
were you there?
I think I was there for 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
2 years. You stayed in the DevRel position, or did you move anywhere else in the company?
No, I stayed in the Deborah position. It was great.
Awesome. And then as far as personal life at that time,
Hmm.
you guys were married,
Yeah, married.
have a house, or you're renting. Like, what was going on in your life at this time?
Ooh, good question. I was renting an apartment, but near the end of my time at GitHub, I did buy a house. So like maybe the last
Oh,
5 months or so. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Was that something that was always on your list of things to do? Be a homeowner?
Of course. Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
wanted a house. Yeah.
Do you feel like, again, and this all goes back to the whole like upbringing and like life as a child, like was that something that was important for you to like own something here, to like feel like you were a piece of something or had that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think well, hmm. I think I was like I wanted to own a house, but it looked like mad work. But once I
Yeah.
saw that it was possible, both financially and like just like mentally, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I want to do this. This is important to me.
Yeah. No, I love that. And you did find out it is in fact mad work, correct?
Well,
Yeah, they are. I hate it sometimes. I was just talking to people about that yesterday. I was like, if I could go back to rent and knew that all my stuff could be fixed and my yard would be mowed all the time, like I was like, I got to kind of consider that. We'll see, but no, it is nice. I mean, it's nice to like have a piece of something that you can call your own.
yeah,
So
and you don't have to ask your landlord, "Can you fix it?" And then they won't.
that's also true. That's also true. You get to fix it yourself. Good luck with that.
Yay! Yeah.
As far as like home ownership, what's one thing that you were surprised at how hard it was to do? Have you guys had to do any like major fixes yourself? Have you tried any home improvements? Like, what was that one thing you're like, oh my God, I'll never want to do this again?
Honestly, okay. Well, I bought this is a new home, so
Okay,
there's
that's nice.
there's stuff to fix, but not really. Like there, I could ignore them long enough. But the thing that I was very surprised about was like the home buying process itself. I don't know if I
Mm.
just got unlucky. I think I did, but everybody involved was super shady. And like took advantage of
Oh,
the fact that like I'm young or I look young or whatever. So it was like very easy for them to just like give me a house. Like this is a new home, but like there's just a lot of shady practices that went into building the home and things I didn't look out
oh.
for. Yeah.
Wow. So I guess reflecting on that, like what was maybe something if you were to buy another house you would kind of look out for?
If I was to buy another house, I would get look at the background on the builders of the house.
Oh.
That's what I would do again. I mean, like if I did it again, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do this again. But yeah,
Yeah.
like all the people on my street who got their house built, they're thinking of suing because
Oh,
it was that crazy. Yeah. So
wow. Wow. So yeah, that's pretty significant. I mean, fortunately I didn't have something to contend with like that, but
yeah.
geez, I can't even imagine. So we've got the house.
Yeah.
We're now leaving GitHub. Let's
Yeah.
kind of talk about that.
Mm.
The transition from GitHub to then that would be Block.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. At
Okay.
the time I was in their division called TBD.
Okay.
Yeah, what about the I don't know which part to
Yeah.
go.
Just like what was that like? Did they approach you, or were you always looking? Has that been
Uh,
something that you always do when you're in a job? Like, do you settle, or are you always kind of potentially looking out for something that could be better?
I'm always potentially looking. I really
Yeah.
did enjoy GitHub. I had a great time. I think at the time I was starting to get a little bit of like AI fatigue because I did so much GitHub Copilot. So I was like, what else is out there? And I just wanted to build something experimental. I wanted to do a little bit more code, but still
Hmm.
be a developer advocate, and that
Yeah.
seemed to give that for me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. What was the interview process like there?
It was. Let me see what it was. It was like a behavioral with Angie, and then I think I did a presentation. Like they gave me an assignment, like a take
Hmm.
home. I did a presentation on that, and then they asked me follow up questions. There was like engineers there, more a lead engineer, principal engineer had a chat with me as well, just to like see how technical I was, and then I think that was it. I
I
don't
think
remember. Yeah.
something like that. Whatever. So now again, like going back, you had mentioned that you were watching videos of Brian B. Dougie for anybody that doesn't know, and also Angie, and like kind of like looking at them as like inspiration for how you're doing certain things. What was it like to then kind of meet Angie and like interview with her and talk to her? Shout out to Angie Jones,
Yeah, shout out to her.
fan favorite of the tech commute. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, um It was a dream, I guess. Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
I intentionally wanted to work with both Brian and Angie.
Oh.
So it was really great that I
Was
got to work.
Brian at GitHub while you were there?
Yeah, he was
Okay,
my
cool.
manager while
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it was
he's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I like Angie a lot. She's fantastic. So talk about the first couple months in this new role, like as far as like kind of just getting up to speed. Were there any sort of hurdles? Did you just immediately feel comfortable, or were there like a couple things you were just a normal first time in a role position type situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was immediately comfortable. I think had gone from mid-level to staff, and I
Mm,
was kind of like, I don't even know what staff is supposed to be doing. I don't want to underperform.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the technology they were working on was like so different than what I had ever worked on before. It was like around decentralized systems at the time. Now we've
Mm,
moved back into AI, which I'm more familiar with, but that was a huge learning curve for me too, and I didn't want to seem dumb.
seemed dumb. I like that. Well, so okay, this is your first role as a staff engineer or staff
Developer
developer.
advocate.
Okay,
Yeah.
so based on that, like, were there certain expectations? Like, what was that conversation like as far as like what they expected of you in the role?
Yeah, I mean, they expected for me to like come correct, I guess. Like I mean, I don't remember the exact like words or anything, but I know for a fact like I wanted to show up as somebody that wasn't like needed a ton of hand holding, that
Hmm.
was coming in and like making an impactful change, but not in a way that's like disrupting the entire team and the way that they already work, but a way that will help to improve the team. So that's like something I was really aiming for, and I took some stuff that I learned from GitHub because this was a smaller team. We
Yeah.
were just started, and I was like, "Hey, here's some stuff that we did at GitHub. We don't have to do them, but I like tried and experimented with things. And I'm like, oh, this stuff landed, this stuff didn't. So I just made sure that I was like continuously like putting out work and that I was communicating as much as possible and sharing my ideas.
Nice. So you mentioned that it started differently than it is now that you've moved more towards AI. Like, what was that? How were you staying up to date with like the advancements in AI and the tech around that to be comfortable with it? Was that something they were allowing you to do while you were there, like learn as you go, or did you kind of have to take care of that yourself?
I think mostly as my like mostly myself. I think
Yeah,
when I was at GitHub, I already did like GitHub Copilot and stuff like
sure,
that, so I
sure.
was already aware of some of the stuff that was going on. I kind of leveraged AI a little bit while I was at TBD just for like my own like understanding.
Hmm.
I think I don't know. I'm someone that naturally wants to keep up with what's happening in the tech industry,
Yeah.
and then so when I moved into AI, um, I got a little bit of a heads up before I went on maternity leave. Angie was like, "Oh, you know, I know you like AI stuff. They have this AI project you might want to check out." So I got a little bit of a chance to view it. But yeah, once we dived in, I was in there on maternity leave. I was watching all the videos. I was reading all the stuff. I'm like, I don't like to be left behind.
Yeah. So so you've already established the career before you had the baby.
Yeah.
So you're already working. You went on maternity leave. Have you how have you sort of now balanced or worked into having a family with also working full time? Because it's a little bit different where some people had the family and then work, but
Yeah.
you had the work, now you have the family. So how are you sort of blending both of those at this point?
Yeah, I think it's a hard balance just because now I'm a tech lead, so now my workload increased even more.
Yeah.
And in the past, what I used to do, like you just said, like where I just was working first, is like if I felt a little bit behind or something, I wouldn't mind if I like did a little work on the weekend or in the night. But that's much harder with having a kid, so I have to be more productive during the day. Like I can't be
Mm.
how I was before, where like I might like watch a TV show and then be like, all right, let me get to work. Like, no, I like have to,
No nap time anymore for you anyway.
yeah, gotta go full focus. And then I still try to like use the rest of the time. Like I get offline and I focus on my kid.
Mm. How do you do that? How do you time box? Like, what are some of your time management secrets that are helping you with doing that? Because on
Mm.
paper, yeah, sure, easy. You get offline, but it sounds like you have the work ethic of somebody that likes to be on all the time and always running. So how do you balance that? Like, what are some things?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess, oh, I don't know. I guess sometimes I don't have a choice now. Like I would
Yeah.
rather, first of all, I have ADHD, so it's super easy for
Mm,
me to just like hyper focus once I get into something, and like
yeah.
it's hard for me to break out. But like if my kid's crying, it's very much hard for me to focus. Like she
Yeah.
comes home from being watched by my mom, I have to get offline. I don't really. It's hard to do anything. She's not really the type of, I don't know if there's any baby that just lets you type when you want to type. So
Yeah.
she's making me have to like actually have a work life balance.
How do you, and I'm speaking from experience on this. How does that make you feel? Do you feel sometimes you're not doing enough work? Or maybe are there times where you feel like you're not doing enough momming?
That's a good question. I feel like I'm momming a lot,
Yeah.
so I don't feel
Okay, that's good.
yeah, I try to be a mom a lot, but there are times where I'm like, dang, I kind of missing the ball on this particular piece of work. And if it wasn't the situation, I would have had it done. But
Yeah.
like, I kind of just have to say, like, oh, well, and figure out how I can work around that in the future.
Yeah. How do you sort of treat that mentally for yourself? Do you just kind of move forward or do you hold on to it a little bit? Like the
I,
guilt.
I probably hold on to
Yeah, a little bit.
a little bit,
I
yeah.
can appreciate that. I mean, I'm asking personally because, like, my experience too. Like, even when we were talking before we started, I was downstairs with Jack. I like try to take those little breaks,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, oh, my phone's still here. I should check Slack real quick before I get on this stream just to check and see if I miss anything. But then I feel bad that maybe I'm, again, missing time with him. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you can appreciate that to some extent as well. So it's hard. It's
Yeah.
definitely hard. Where do you see yourself going from here? You like your trajectory in the role you're in now, or what's like the 5 year Roselle plan?
That's such a good question. Okay, because I'm not sure. Like in the past, I'm like, oh, I want to be a software engineer, then I want to
Hmm.
become senior and stuff like that. But I didn't expect to become tech lead at this point in my
Yeah.
life. So, because I don't know, I thought it was a little bit faster than I planned. So I'm not too sure as yet. I think where I'm at is kind of fine. Like I'm okay with being like like high level IC type.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily want to be like an engineering manager or anything. I think I just want to grow to be a, a tech lead that like creates good psychological safety, but still has like a productive team.
Nice. I like that. So would you say right now in the role you're in, you're doing something that makes you happy at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Awesome. What is your favorite thing as far as tech right now that you like to play around with?
I mean,
Like,
I'm probably gonna say what everybody else is saying, like MCP and AI agents and stuff like that. They recently came out with like MCP UI. I haven't gotten to play around with that, but that's
mm,
something I want to. Where like basically you can like prompt AI and it gives you back like some kind of like interactive website. So like I can say like, hey, I want to book a not a website. I want to book an air like plane. It'll show you like airplanes and the seat that you can book, and you can literally click it rather than just like typing text. So that's interesting to me.
wow. Yeah, I like
Um,
that.
but yeah, yeah. I'm just curious about the future of AI right now.
Yeah, what do you think it looks like? What's your future of AI look like? What do you
Yeah.
want to see?
Yeah, I think something that's more balanced, not where we're like, oh, like AI is going to replace people. We're just like it's just a regular like technology that everybody accepts, and it's helping us be more productive, but we're not like over like like overhyping it a bit. Like we're like this is what it is, this is how it's helpful, but not that it's replacing people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And obviously, you're over at Block, so I feel like your daily driver somehow involves Goose.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So, how are you? how are you using that every day? Like what sort of things are you using AI for in your day-to-day activities?
I literally use it for everything. Honestly, that's one of the things that helps me to balance being a mom and this.
Hmm.
So like, yeah. So I sometimes I have to like figure out the release notes, like what came out for Goose. I'll just ask Goose, like what came out between this time and this time. It'll tell me perfect. It just post it. Well, I review it, of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
review it and post it. Or sometimes I want to like build an app, and honestly, using AI is really helpful for it because like I could be holding my kid and then I can be like, ooh, to do this, and it like does it in the background. I'm using like
Wow.
multiple sub agents. I'm like, this is great, like productivity on point for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds awesome. I definitely have to have you show me how to do those types of things because that would be really helpful.
yeah.
Um, Looking back on your career and obviously you've helped educate people and align people to different boot camps and roles, like do you see your journey as potentially inspirational to others? And now that people kind of follow what you've been doing, what do you say to people that are kind of trying to break into tech right now, like looking back at how you did it?
I mean, it could be inspiration. It could
Yeah.
not be. I don't know. So whoever they, whatever, however they feel. But like, wait, what was the end of the
Yeah, like
question?
as far as like breaking into tech right now, like
Oh,
looking back at your career, and again, people obviously have seen your talks and followed your journey. Like, what's maybe one piece of advice you could give people that are trying to do it now?
I would say be persistent but flexible and resourceful. So like go with a goal in mind. Don't give up on like
Mhm.
getting into tech. Um, but also don't like what I was saying earlier, where you're like, oh, I only want to be like a back end engineer. You can be a solutions engineer. Like keep your options open. And then when I say be resourceful, look at how other people are like leveraging getting into hiring managers like faces, like maybe they're learning in public and stuff like that. That's something that really helped me, like where nobody knew what I was doing or who I was, but once I started like blogging or like making videos and stuff like that, people were like, oh yeah, Rizal, like I watched her stuff. So that like puts a face to the name, and then hiring managers know what you're capable of.
I love that. That is solid advice for everybody out there. Definitely some gems. Somebody else had said that. Yeah, got thanks, y'all. Got a lot of gems. Absolutely. I definitely got some sound bites here too. Last question, then I'm going to let you go. Before that, I'm going to give you an opportunity to maybe talk about your next talk or your next event that we'll be able to see you at. What does success look like to Rizal?
Ooh, success, I would say, looks like living a calm life. You're not like, oh shoot, I gotta go to this meeting, or I forgot to do this thing. I don't know, giving you the same like I didn't do my homework type of vibes. Like,
Calm life. I
yeah,
like that. It's such a simple statement, but so hard to attain. I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
especially now with the jobs and the hectic work lives and home lives.
yeah,
It's striking that balance.
yeah.
Yeah, success means you are able to lead a calm life. That is beautiful. Well, this has been phenomenal. We finally did it. We
I
got to
know.
chat. I love it. Where can we see? What are you working on that you want to plug? Are you going to be doing any speaking events soon? Like, talk to us about where we can see your stuff.
Okay, I'm going to be at Commit Your Code, and I'm going to be at GitHub Universe at the end of this year. So Commit Your Code in September and GitHub Universe. There's some other stuff, but I can't remember them. Those are the main ones I'm excited about.
You can also get Rizal on LinkedIn here. We've got Blue Sky. We've got X as well. Make sure you connect. Make sure you mention, because you should always add a note when you're connecting with people, that you saw her on the Tech Commute and it really resonated with you. I think that's really it. This was awesome. It was very, like, I love your story, and I hope that you share it more, and I hope that it definitely resonated with some people. I think that's it. For everything else, you guys can head to torque.community. You know where to find me, and down in the Discord as well, and go connect with Rizal. And outside of that, remember, everybody, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. I hope you have a good rest of your Monday. Bye, everybody. Let me see if I can remember how to turn this off. There we go. All right, cool. All right.